What is going on, everyone? Today is Monday, February 1st. We're here with another episode of Talking That Talk with Kriegs and Kiefer. I am Kriegs, he's Kiefer. You know the drill. About to get into it. We have some pretty big news drop over the weekend. Biggest news, definitely, I think so far this NFL offseason. Matt Stafford and Jared Goff will be exchanging teams, as well as the Rams will be sending the Lions 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. And Matt Stafford is going to pack his bags and head off to Los Angeles. That is going to be a big topic on today's segment or today's talk episode, whatever you want to call it. I think that definitely puts the Rams in instant Super Bowl contention.
100%.
That I think that offense with Jared Goff. I mean, they were going to have an open competition for John Wolford and Jared Goff. That's what Sean McVay had announced. I think that offense that they had in there was very good. It was shaky at times, but I think that was more because of Jared Goff. He wasn't making the right reads.
With a solid quarterback, we're actually going to get to see just how lethal that offense is, and that defense
especially
is
with Sean
elite.
McVay. Yeah,
that defense is elite. You can. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. If they're on the field for 3/4 of the game, they're going to give up points.
Right, you got to be able to score in the NFL.
Exactly. They did give up 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. So with that deal being done, that means the Rams did not have a first-round pick. It'll be 7 consecutive years without a first-round pick, which is unbelievable.
You got to think that they're going to make another big signing still, because they're going to try and be all in. I mean, not that I don't think that offense is elite, but I think they still need one more big signing there on the offense. That rookie running back that they got showed out a little bit. They still got Brandon Cooks, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They still got Cooper Kupp. I mean, their offense isn't necessarily weak. I just think like you said, that defense is an elite defense. I would like to see them get another weapon for Matt Stafford.
Brandon Cooks is not there. Brandon Cooks is in Houston.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's Woods
I would like to
Kupp.
Woods, yeah, Robert Woods, yeah, that's it. I always get Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods mixed up. I don't know why. I always do. I would like to see them get another weapon for Matt Stafford. Being in the NFC North, seeing Jared Goff comes in. I've seen him play very bad against the Bears, and I've seen him play very good against the Bears. So I'm not really sure on how to judge it. I think the Lions know that they are in a
total
rebuild stage, and I think that's going to play a factor in Jared Goff's performance in general. I think him going to Detroit is the best thing for him right now, just because there's not very high expectations in Detroit, so he could develop a few more years, and once he's out of this extension contract, right? Once he's out of this extension contract, he could go to a team that just needs a shot for a quarterback. Exactly. I wouldn't have minded him on the Bears. The Bears were one of the firm. The Bears offered even more than the Rams did for Jared Goff for Matt Stafford. The Bears offered 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick, and I think it was either Mitch or Nick, and some I don't know, developing corner, Vildor, I think it was. I'm not really entirely sure. But Lions said no, which is expected. Them being in the same division, they're not going to trade away a quarterback, because I mean, realistically, the Bears, I hate to say it, but if they had a decent quarterback, could actually make a shot every year. Yeah. But it is what it is. I think it'll be interesting to see how Matt Stafford adjusts. That Sean McVay offense is something else. I think it's one of those offenses like Bill Belichick where you can just kind of put someone in it and they'll succeed in it. So I think that the Lions definitely won the trade.
Long term, they won.
Yeah, long term.
Short term, it's the Lambs.
Yeah.
Not, I wouldn't say Super Bowl favorites, but they're easily Super Bowl contenders right out the gate.
I mean, I think they're favorites to win their division now.
Yeah, that easily puts them above Seattle. And I mean, Arizona, never know what you're gonna get with them. They started out great this year.
They gotta figure. Yeah, they gotta figure themselves out.
No, but like I said, the Lions got a lot in return, which was good because this is the last. I mean, Stafford probably would have had a decent year next year too, and probably would have got close to what they got this year. But I think they wait another year or two. They're definitely not getting 2 first-round picks. This was the best, the best time to sell.
So now, what do you think San Fran's gonna do now? Because if you look at that division, those quarterbacks now are Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson, and Kyler Murray, all pretty great quarterbacks. And I don't think Jimmy G's the answer.
No.
So you think they push harder for Watson now? You think they go? What pick do they have?
That I don't know, but I do know I can see them pushing harder for Watson, and they've got young guys who could supplement return-wise.
Niners on the 12th pick this year,
so that's not terrible.
So I could see them. I could see someone, and not to mention the Lions also have the 7th overall pick this year. So they could get either a weapon if a receiver falls, because I think Galladay's out. I don't think he's gonna play without Stafford there.
I could see Galladay. Well, I don't know because we don't know whether he's chasing the money or he's chasing the ring. If he was chasing the ring, you might see him go out to LA with Stafford and take a decent chunk of cut pay-wise and be in contention to win Super Bowl, or he'll go to a team that's got money, not very good, and ball out. Regardless, I think he's a good receiver, and wherever he goes is going to benefit the team. But I'd like to see him go somewhere where he's needed, take a little pay cut if it's needed, because the Rams' salary cap is going to be a little hot to handle. So if they bring him in, they're going to have to either restructure some deals or he's going to have to take a pay cut.
Wow. So I'm looking at just SB Nation post, and this is showing that the Niners, they did, they're bummed they missed out on Stafford, but they are rumored to quote unquote make a move for Kirk Cousins. I guess the silence will answer that.
Kirk's I think he's better than Jimmy G, but he's not what they need.
Right.
You saw in the Super Bowl last year, dude. Jimmy G handed the ball off 40,000 times. They lost the game because he could not make the throws. Not saying that Kirk Cousins can make the throws, but I think there's a more likely chance of Cousins making the throws than Jimmy G. But that's the first I'm hearing about that. So, I mean, if it happens, it happens. But I don't know if Minnesota would be willing to get rid of Cousins. They've got a young stud, Justin Jefferson. Thielen's still great. They've got one really fantastic running back, and his backup is pretty damn good himself. If they can tighten up their defense a little bit, and I mean their offense wasn't bad. They tighten up that defense. They tighten up that defense, and they close out games this year. They make the playoffs.
They gave up 28 points to the Bears one time.
Yes.
One of these games.
Their inability to close games killed them. But with that, we'll move to the rest of the weekend recap. The Lakers beat the Celtics 96-95 on Saturday. Close one. Those games are always fun to watch. Anthony Davis balled out.
Kemba tried hitting a game winner and missed it.
Yep. Those games are fun. Like it's Lakers-Celtics for forever. Been marquee matchups. The Celtics aren't doing terrible this year. They're a couple games above 500, but they seem very inconsistent. The Lakers, they're just stomping their way through the schedule like many would expect. Yesterday, 2 big games. The Nuggets and the Jazz streak behind Jokic. 47, 12, and 5. I believe he had 33 in the first half. That dude just balls out. I mean, the Jazz streak was going to end eventually. They played well. They just got outplayed by Jokic and the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
The Nets, hot topic. They blow a 5-point lead. They blew a 5-point lead with only 8.1 seconds. Well, 15-ish seconds left. Beal hit a 3 to bring him within 2 with 8.1 left, and then ended up losing 149 to 146. That's the second time in this small Big Three era that they've given up over 140 points.
Wasn't the other two? Who was the other two?
The Cavs. In double
Yeah,
OT. I think it was a double OT. And they lost twice to the Cavs last week. But I saw something this morning. It says, as of right now, the Nets are on pace for the highest offense efficiency ever. And they're on pace for the highest or lowest defensive efficiency ever.
Yeah, man. But I mean, if you can score like that, then
not every team's going to be able to put up 140 points every in a 7-game series. So I don't.
And I think they're also kind of getting used to all of them moving the ball to each other and stuff. So, but still pretty early into their tenure.
They're still working out the kinks.
One of the things that really put me in a bad mood, if you follow Twitter at all, it was all over Twitter. Bradley Beal's just lack of effort in the first half. I mean, he would literally on offense just run to one of the corners or run up by the hash and would literally just sit there, like, and just not move and not do anything and sit there. And just like how we're sitting here, where he would literally just stand there. And it was, as a basketball fan who watches someone, I respected Bradley Beal. He balled out on the Bulls a couple times in some playoff series.
He's been balling out all year.
Yeah, he's been balling out. You know, he's good. He's just
they've lost 10 straight games when he scores 40 points. That's unbelievable.
It is. He's in a shitty situation there in Washington. They, got rid of John Wall in the offseason, brought in Russell Westbrook, who
hurt the team.
I
don't care anybody says. Westbrook is not a team player. He's not going to win a ring.
Right.
Flame me in the comments. I don't care. I'll argue all day about that. Russell Wilson is not the answer. He's not going to win you a championship.
Westbrook.
I don't give a
Westbrook.
What did I say?
You said Weston.
Weston. Oh, Westbrook. Well, Weston, piss off. Westbrook, though, like, you saw it in OKC. Yeah, he averaged a triple. He put up numbers. Did they win? No. They got knocked out of the playoffs early. Both years he averaged a triple double. He's not what you need in a team. That's why Houston couldn't win in Houston with James Harden, the best scorer in the league. Obviously, they were young in OKC when they had the core three, but
it still surprises me that core three didn't get a ring.
Yeah, he's not a winner.
With how young they were when they lost to LeBron, right?
They blew a 3-1 lead to the Warriors. They lost. Yeah, they lost to LeBron's
No, they went
Heat.
to the finals.
I know, but the last time they played together,
they blew a 3-1.
Harden was gone, but KD and Russ blew a 3-1 lead to Steph and the Warriors.
And then KD left.
Yep.
But with that squad as early as it was, who was it? It was Westbrook, Harden.
And Harden was coming off the bench. You got to remember that.
Yeah, Cephalosha was there.
Steven Adams.
Durant, Ibaka, Steven Adams. Who else was down there in the paint? Fucking some other big fucker. Kendrick Perkins was there for a little bit.
They had a solid team.
Yeah, and to see that team be so young and make it to the finals like how they did, and
they gave up too early.
Fight against that. Yeah, they put up a fight against that Heat team. They went 1 year and then they said, "Oh well, we didn't do it this year, so we might as well just start over." And then they slowly started. I think Ibaka left, and then they just slowly. I think Steven Adams doesn't play there anymore, does he?
He just left this year.
Yeah, where's he at now?
Where is he? He's in New Orleans.
Is he in Charlotte?
No, he's in New Orleans.
Okay.
He's a Pelican.
Yeah. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't think it just surprises me that team A only made one finals and B didn't even win a ring.
Yeah.
And some matchups that we got go ahead.
This is last comment about that. I think Durant out of that three, obviously he's got the 2 rings. He'll be the only one that wins a ring out of that group.
You don't think Harden's winning one at all?
No. That Nets team's gonna fold and crumble in the playoffs. Or they're going to get
I
beat
can
by
see that.
LeBron and the Lakers in the finals.
I can definitely see that. I mean, that it's just going to be so. The only shot that they have is if LeBron, if they have a hiccup and run into some trouble in the West playoffs.
I still see the Clippers
that
beating
Lakers,
them.
huh?
I still see any team out of the West beating the Nets in the finals.
Right. I'm just saying. I think they have more of a realistic shot at beating another West team.
Anybody but
That's
LeBron.
not right. Into some games for today. We got the New York Knicks traveling to the United Center and playing the Bulls today. Bulls, they're 7-11 right now. In their last 10, they're 3-7. They lost a heartbreaker to Portland on the weekend, on the weekend, I believe. There was a heartbreaker, man. There's a jump ball at the free throw line. Lillard got it and just sunk a mid range, or it might even been a three. I'm not sure, but
put the dagger.
It was heartbreaking to watch because they played. They played Portland very well. That was the second time they played them extremely well and lost at heartbreak. So you could, and if you take both those, I mean, they're sitting at 500.
It's not
big game.
It's not upsetting. It's kind of relieving though because it shows that
they're playing good basketball.
Yes, they're just not getting it done, which is better than playing awful basketball and getting blown out.
Right.
But continue.
Yeah, I'd rather go 0-82 and lose.
Have an average margin of loss by less than 5. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's big game tonight against the Knicks. They're 9-12, 4-6 in the last 10. They're sitting just on the outside looking in the Eastern Conference. I think big game. The Knicks have been balling out recently. They've been playing really well. I think New York, Chicago is always a big matchup as it is, whether it's at the Garden or it's at the United Center. I think that's going to be a pretty big one. And then we also got the Phoenix Suns, traveling to the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Suns are 4-6 in their last 10, and the Mavericks are 2-8 in their last 10. Mavericks are looking to turn something around. They're 8-12 right now. They started off really well, and then just I don't know what happened. They just slowly started to deteriorate and not look like the team that we saw them be so dominant towards the end of the bubble and stuff, and in the bubble last year or early this season. Right, it's still very early. Suns are 10-8. They're sitting in the 6th spot in the Western Conference. I'd like to see them, come play. I'd like to see them play together a little more. I know Chris Paul being there is a big transition.
Devin Booker's having to rework his entire game because he's been the stud the last couple of years. I'm not saying that CPU's taking the spotlight, but he has to learn to play. He's learning to play with somebody else.
He's learning to play the 2. Yeah. He was listed at the 2 in his years playing before, but he took the ball up the court. He doesn't take the ball up court 40% of the time anymore.
Nope. He's playing off the ball now, which is a huge difference.
If this ball is not in, that's the only time he's taking the ball up. He's playing a lot of, like you said, he's playing a lot of off ball. He has to rework his whole game. He did a lot. Where did he go to school? Did he go to
Kentucky?
Yeah, he went to Kentucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
He played a lot of off ball at Kentucky. No, he played a lot of on ball at Kentucky too, because he was the stud there when he was there. I don't know, man. I would like to see the Suns do good. I always
it's an adjustment period.
Booker. Yeah, for sure.
Tuesday's games: Clippers at Nets, and then Boston at Golden State. Should be two very good games. Golden State inconsistent. They beat the good teams. They lose the bad teams. They beat the Lakers, and then a night or two later, they got blown out by the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks aren't an awful team like they have been, but it's just the turnaround. It's kind of, what's his team doing? We'll jump into some baseball news. Dustin Pedroia retires today. He didn't have a fantastic career. He had a really good career that was plagued with injuries towards the end, which makes you think. I don't think he gets in the Hall of Fame because of.
You don't think so?
The end of his career, not tarnished it, but it diminished.
He has both.
It diminished what he did towards the beginning of it. Like
he had both. His rookie year was the year the Red Sox won the first one, right?
Yeah. Won 2 titles, won Rookie of the Year, and then won the MVP the next year. just I'd like to see him get in the Hall, but I just don't see him happening with the injuries that plagued him at the end of his career.
And with how it is now.
Yeah, which makes you think though, injury free. What kind of numbers does he put up in his career, and how much
he dealt with the knee injuries, right? That's what it was. The knees.
Yes, the last couple of years, I don't think he's seen the field in the last couple of years, but they were still paying him. He's hoping to come back, and I think he finally just came to the realization this year that it's not in the cards. But it sucks, especially with the guy with his talent. Turned the team around. They won 2 titles with him. 2 or 3? No, 3, because he was a part of that 2016 or 17 championship. Oh,
yeah, he did win 3.
Was it 18? When the Red Sox won it? Yeah, because it was Cubs, Astros, Red Sox. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Red Sox, and then
was he a part of that team technically?
He was on the team. I don't think he played, but he got a ring. But that team was good. It's interesting to think about the possibilities of his career stats without the injuries and what that Boston team would look like had he been in the everyday lineup.
Switching over to some Cubs news. Trevor Williams has been a long time pitcher with the Pittsburgh Pirates. We've seen a lot of him over the years. He signed him to a 1-year deal. He is really, really excited to play in Chicago. I'm pretty sure he was born in Chicago. Hometown kid. I know, he's always been talking about how he likes pitching at Wrigley Field because, his dad was from Chicago. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they're all from Chicago, but his dad, I know when he went to the Cubs, or when he got signed to the Cubs, his dad tweeted and said, I'll quote it. He said, "I was born and raised in Chicago, watched Ernie Banks hit his 500th home run in May of 1970. I worked 4 summers as an usher at Wrigley Field. This is a dream. Wake me up. This pick was at Wrigley in 2018. It was so cold that night. I am warm tonight." And it was a picture of Trevor Williams pitching in 2018 in the snow. I think it was an early April game, I want to say.
Yeah. Makes you feel good though.
So that kind of spices things up a little bit. He's definitely going to be in our starting role. I think he's going to play our 4, no matter who we sign. So right now we're looking at Hendricks, Azalea,
Mills,
Davies, Mills,
and now
Williams.
But I do think they.
And then I think
Arrieta's out of the picture. Dude wants too much money. Cubs aren't going to give him more than what he should sign for under 10, but I'm pretty sure he's asking upwards of 12 for a 1-year deal, which Cubs don't do it. Please don't. I would love to see a reunion, but do not waste the money on him. I'm not saying that he won't have a great year, but he's not worth that much money anymore.
I'd rather pay Samardzija 3.5 for a reunion.
Get Mike from the Braves. Not going to try to say his last name, butcher it again. Get Mike from the Braves and Samardzija for the price of one pitcher in Arrieta. That's all I'm saying.
And that would make our rotation very well. I think at that point, if we sign one more, if we sign either Fultonevich or Samardzija, I think our rotation, Hendricks starts the ace. I think you give the 2 to either Davies or Mills, just depending on how they pitch out of spring training. And then the 3 will be the signee within Samardzija or Fultonevich. And then I think 4 or 5, you can kind of throw a toss-up between whoever is not Davies or Mills for the 4. And then 5 would either you have Trevor Williams, and then if you want to go 6 starters, you throw the 6 start with Adbert or the Braylon Martinez guy, because he's been looking very much. I know we only had Cubs talk last Wednesday, but he's still looking very good since then.
Move on.
Go ahead.
Fernando Tatis Jr. announced this morning as the MLB The Show 21 cover boy. The show is now cross-platform, which is the first Sony game that has ever merged to be cross-platform. That was Sony exclusive. The release date is 4/20, which I believe that the early pre-order is 4/16, I believe. Yeah, night of 4/16, and then early access starts the 17th midnight. It is cross-platform just for Xbox right now. I know they were talking about PC and the Switch, but with COVID and everything, Krieger and I talked about this yesterday. With COVID and everything, it's a lot easier to go from console to console than it is to go that kind of run the same mechanics than go from console to PC and the Switch. It's two completely different things from what they're normally doing. I think without COVID, they all four of them come out at the same time. But with them not being in the office and not being able to fully dive into it with all hands on deck, I think that delays PC and Nintendo. I would say probably early summer. You would see those, maybe early midsummer All-Star break, depending on that, depending on how fast they develop it. And if they are going to put it out on those two systems this year, they might wait. They might wait a whole another year.
Right. If that's the case, do you have a capture card?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotta get one here soon. If that's the case, then I mean, I'm just gonna have to pull the old PlayStation out and slather on up there.
But Tatis is very deserving of it. Tired of the old heads reaming his neck about how he plays. He's entertaining. He puts some life into the game, sparks it.
Passion.
Yes, he plays with heart. He wants to play.
He's like a Javier Baez or like a Juan Soto.
Yes.
Like, they're young. They want to play the game.
They're excited. They want to bring life back to baseball, which is what we need. We're gonna last couple topics wrap things up. The Blackhawks split this weekend, which I kind of guessed it. Friday night I said that. If you watched our previous episode, that they probably would split. They're slowly working and looking better. It's a progress. They're still playing together, and with COVID and all that, didn't have a normal offseason and preseason, so kind of working out the kinks. And then this is all I'm going to say about this because it's aggravating as hell. MSU continues to stink. At least they scored more than 39 points against Ohio State, but they did lose this weekend to, what was it, the 17th ranked Buckeyes?
Yep. But Illinois did get that win over Iowa.
Yep.
So that was big for Michigan. Not sure when Michigan's next game is. Blackhawks play tomorrow. They play the Carolina Hurricanes, starting a 2-game series. So we'll have the score for that on our Wednesday episode, and then the second game of that series is on Thursday. So we'll have the score for that on our Friday episode.
We won't touch on wrestling much, but our childhood kind of struck home last night. Edge won the Royal Rumble, entering from the number 1 spot. Only the third person ever. It was amazing to watch. Wrestling won't be a huge topic on here, but just little tidbits like that. Huge
We'll
news
cover
in the wrestling world.
pay-per-views.
Yeah. But he's the third person ever to do it. Krieger can name those other two.
Shawn Michaels, HBK, one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. 1995 did it, and then he won the Rumble again in 96. So he was a back-to-back. Him and Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan, they really want to do the back-to-backs. Another entry winner from number 1 spot, Chris Benoit, 2004. Yeah, that dude, man, that crossface he did, it was nuts.
He did some awful things to end his life and end his wife and son's life, so that's all we'll talk about that. But he was a staple of our childhood growing up, so his name is going to be mentioned. We're not going to be the WWE and blackball, or he exists. He still exists. What he did in WWE still happened. You can't erase it. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk with. His name's gonna get brought up. This is a short little episode today. It's gonna wrap it up. Reminder: we have
Wednesday.
Our first guest on Wednesday, Jordan Petrie, both of our friends. We're gonna talk mostly Cubs talk, and we'll dive into some NFL. He's the Chargers fan, which we said on Friday. Fuck the Chargers.
We also got a nice little story from high school football, from JV football back in the day, with me and Jordan that we'll touch upon. Little laugh, share a little laugh on the show. So it'll be nice to connect with him for a little bit and shoot some shit about some sports.
So the breakdown of that, we'll probably open up the episode just the two of us. Just do a little recap, 5-10 minutes, and then we'll welcome Jordan on, and he'll probably close out the show with us. Talk for 25-30 minutes, depending on where our conversation leads to. But that's going to do it. I got nothing left to say. Anything from you, Krieger?
Nothing. Just if you haven't checked out the other episodes, make sure to check them out. Give us a like on YouTube, sub. Follow us on Twitter. Do everything. We got pretty much every social you can think of.
Yep. Facebook, Twitter,
except for
YouTube.
Said just about everything but Instagram. We're still looking into getting the audio on Spotify, but it is kind of a process that we're not really sure if we want to dive into yet.
Just yet. Yeah.
Kind of want to get more of a following before we jump on to the audio only aspect of it, just because it's a little bit not difficult but tedious in the things you have to do and getting it approved and making sure there's no copyrights in it. And
the show will improve over time as well. This is our fifth episode. We're working out the kinks.
Yep.
We're getting more comfortable. It's gonna get better. So we appreciate all the support so far. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for watching today's episode, and we will see you on Wednesday. Peace.